Peut-être pour Jane. Il est 7 heures, on va appeler.
It's 7 o'clock. We're going to call the meeting to order. Before adopting the agenda, I know we don't usually want to add anything to the meeting agenda, but there's one item we'd like to add under business arising 5.1. Maybe you'll have to read this, Stefan.
And I just can't wait for the next meeting, so it has to do with Bitcom. If you're in agreement with that, a motion to amend the agenda is in order, moved by Danny, seconded by Hector. All in favor, say aye. Against, carried.
Okay, merci. Are there items on the agenda that could put you in a conflict of interest? If not, we'll go to number 3, presentations. Land and Asset Database, Erica Rolson from REN.
Microphone button. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for giving me an opportunity to speak to you here this evening, and thank you for your patience that it will be in English. I Anglophone to a fault. So I've come today to talk to you about the new project that we've just released, the Land and Asset Database. I'm going to keep it really brief and just give you a quick overview of our website because that's where the links to the database can be found, and just to make sure that all of you know what you can expect to find on the website for the Western Regional Enterprise Network. So our website that I've got displayed up on your screen right now is, the name of the website is westernren.ca. And across the very top of the menus, you'll see events, blog, about, and contact. And that's pretty basic stuff up there. We post, we have a calendar on events where we put training sessions that ACOA is offering to business people, or the CBDCs or SEDAN, anything of interest to the business community that they can use in learning or furthering their efforts. So trade missions with NSBI, we post in there. Our blog is a weekly blog, and it gives people a little bit of an idea of what we actually do on the ground, right? Beyond just, the high-level mandate of guide and navigate regional economic development. This tells a little bit about what we actually do. The about is our board's bios and terms and when they expire, and information about our board meetings can all be found on there, and then contact is pretty straightforward. The rest of the site down on the second white menu there is where the meat of all of our work is. So I'm going to come back to the invest one at the very end and just go through them super quickly. Just want to give you an idea. Again, everything on our website is from a regional perspective. So and our region is from the border of Digby all the way around to and including Barrington now. So we have 7 municipal units. So this is just a high-level overview about the Western region, what kinds of things we all love about living here. So it's some pretty basic high-level stuff there. The Grow tab is all about services directly to businesses. So our Business Now program, which is our business retention and expansion program, involves direct business visitations, working with businesses, helping them to either stay, the retention part, or expand, which is what we hope to see happen. We hope to see our businesses grow and increase their exports and things like that, because that's how wealth gets generated. So the Business Now program is in support of that. The business resources is largely just our links, the other service providers in the region, all of our partners, public sector partners. The last one on the Grow page is the immigration for employers. This is all about the, am I not? It's, okay. Okay. No, it's okay. This is about the Atlantic Immigration Project, the pilot project that the province is running. It is an employer-driven immigration project. So this is where employers are trying to find the people to fill some of their persistent labor shortages. So we have a staff person who's started with us fairly recently. His name is Gino Thibault, and he will also be requesting to come onto your agenda at some point in the near future to make sure you understand what we've got going with the Atlantic Immigration Project. And then Get Connected is the next menu item. Now that's about the Connector program, and I believe Brenda Legrandeur has already been to present that to you. So we really encourage all municipal councillors and wardens and staff to be aware of the Connector program and make referrals whenever you feel the need. If you know somebody that's just so connected and you're like, oh, you know what, you need to get in there so that you can share your experience and knowledge of the networks in the area. And also for younger people, you know, for somebody who's away in school right now and they're saying, oh, well, what am I going to come back to? Hook them up with Brenda. She can help them find out what to come back to. The Knowledge Suite is where we store a lot of our data. So as I'm sure you're all aware, being ready to attract investment and land investment in our region requires that we have accurate, up-to-date information that's easy to get a hold of. So we store some of the high-level information on this Knowledge Suite page, and then there's a lot of really in-depth data that goes behind all of this. So when you scroll down the page, you'll see we've got links to all of our newsletters in the past, and then we've got all of our reports are on this page. So our strategic plan, our annual reports, our business plans are all on there. I just posted a new report to this page that came out from the government. The Standing Committee on Immigration had made some recommendations about the Atlantic Canada immigration. So, and that just came out just like a couple days ago. So that's up there now as well. And then at the very bottom of this page, which if I can grab it with the mouse, don't do that, please. What am I doing wrong here? There we go. So at the very bottom of the page is what we refer to as our labor market dashboard. And there is a lot of information in this graphic right here, talking about the labor market overview, the whole thing. So the demographics, the age, the age brackets, the income brackets, where people are working, what fields they're working in, and then there's some analyses of it as well. So what some of these numbers mean. So that is produced quarterly. So it's always on that page as well. And then our communities is, as you will probably all recall, there was a package that we created of mini profiles, just one double-sided page per community, high level, what stories you wanted to tell about Clare, what opportunities there are, where the growth is, what are the sectors you really want to focus on. So down the left, we've got all of the fast fact sheets, the mini profiles are available for download in both French and English. And then on the right-hand side, we've got a link to your websites directly. So, and we've got in a couple places, we've got links to your websites. So all of that. Now I'm going to the Invest page. So on this page, again, this is like the Grow page. It's some very high-level stuff about the industries that are in the entire region and some of the opportunities to invest. The Land and Asset Database has a link right here, and I'm going to take you there now. The Land and Asset Database, which is a terribly boring name. If anybody can come up with something better, we're all ears on that one. The website for it is investinwesternns.com. So this same model is being rolled out in Cape Breton. The Valley Wren is working on one. The Eastern Strait Wren is working on one. I believe the South Shore Wren is, but I'm not entirely certain. And I don't know the status of all of theirs, but Cape Breton's site is out already. So theirs is investingcapebreton.com. So what this is, I'm just going to take you to the map right now, and I'm going to let you know that the target audience for this database, this set of information, are site selectors and investors. So it's people outside of the region. They may be in Nova Scotia. They may be in Korea. We don't know, right? So site selectors and investors, when they first want to look for a place to expand, begin to do business, they start their search online. Everybody starts their search online everywhere, right? So the general idea being if you're not online, you're invisible. So this, when it shows, what we're focused on here are commercial and industrial properties within the region. And the thing that is different about our database than, say, MLS or Viewpoint is that we also show the context of the communities. So I'll see if I can do this without the little rolly ball on the mouse. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So all of these black dots that show up with numbers inside, each one of them is a properties. So the green icon is a property. This icon here is a property, or it's a cluster of, what is the number there, 31? A cluster of 31 properties. So if I click on that, it'll zoom right in on Yarmouth and it'll show 31 properties. So I'm just going to click out here on Meteghan. So here we've got 3 properties that have been listed out here. And the properties that are for sale or lease, they automatically populate and they don't go away. That you can't turn that off. So when you click on it, it brings up an image of the property, a little bit of information about the property. We can open up, why can't I, scroll it down here. I'm trying to get, and if these properties are no longer for sale, we need to know that. We want it to be accurate. It's so important. So I'm trying to get to the read more button, but it's down at the bottom of this, and I'm not sure how to work this mouse. So when you look at this property in more detail, when you open up the whole folder on it, it'll give you the contact for the real estate agent that's in charge of it. It'll tell you what kind of, the size of the lot, the services that are available at the lot. You can attach reports and such if there have been environmental assessments already done on the property and they're associated with the property. You can attach it right to the listing on here. So it's, in that way, it's not that much different from many other real estate tools, online real estate tools. What is different is what I'm going to show you over here on the side. These are called point assets down the side here. And these point assets, it's basically our business directory plus. So it's community services, business parks, accommodations, restaurants, fire departments, attractions. There's all kinds of things in here. There's something on the order of 3,000 or 4,000 point assets in this database. And it's schools, it's businesses, it's emergency services, it's government services, it's all those things. So again, the target audience being investors and site selectors, if they want to know, okay, I need a commercial building that's got about this size and I need it to be within this distance of a hospital or this distance of a business park, they can find that quite easily on the map up here, right? They can actually search exactly those parameters as well. And if I can get back up to the top here, there we go. So you can actually search, you can go in, you pick your community that you want to search in, you tell it what kind of, I keep hitting the wrong key, I think. You tell it what kind of like if you're looking for an office space or an industrial space or a commercial space or undeveloped land or anything like that. And then down here you can say asset type. So show me all places within, and then you would say 5 kilometers of accommodations. And you can set 3 different asset types. So all those boundaries that I just talked about, you can say, okay, search out all of the ones that are this close to a business park or this close to a hospital, and they will come up in the search. It'll just narrow the field right down to the properties that meet that criteria. So that's just a really high-level overview of the database. There's a lot of information in this database and more going in all the time. But that is sort of the basics about how to use it. There's a whole, like I could get into a lot of detail about how to enter data and all that, but you don't need to know that. I already trained Pam. So are there any questions?
So the data on that database, who puts the data in there? Is it you guys put it, or we put our own data in it? Is it us that?
So currently we are entering the data into it. We can set up an account for anybody to contribute to this. So ideally, we'll get to the point where all of the economic development officers from the municipal offices will be entering information as they know about it, as it becomes new information, right? Oh, that business sold, that business went out of business, a new one started. So we want to be kept up to speed on all of that. But right now, it's very much data by Armstrong. It is being entered manually. We were successful in our application for a job creation partnership. So we have one person in our office right now full-time entering data. This is all she's doing, is just entering data. So she's looking next for more of the properties to put up there for sale, because I'm sure that you're all aware many commercial properties and some residential as well, but many commercial properties get listed with a for sale sign in the window, right, with a phone number. So that's not going to show up on MLS. It's not going to show up on any real estate's page. So so right now it is very much a very labor-intensive effort. There are provincial efforts to create some little widgets in the background that will go through and grab commercial and industrial listings off the internet as they pop up and populate it automatically. We didn't want to wait until that was all in place before we got started on it, right? This stuff it's a lot of effort no matter how you slice it, so. Yeah.
As-tu d'autres questions?
Are there more questions?
Does it have to be by request, or do you just go out and, I mean, if someone, let's say in Clare, is having issues and they need your support, they go to you and you just go there and help them?
Right now, at request, absolutely. If somebody wants our help, they give us a call, and Victoria will book an appointment with them. And we actually have other people on staff who are also trained to do the business retention and expansion survey. Victoria Brooks, yes. And Gino, I think, has also been trained for it, and Evan Nemeth has also been trained. So all 3 of them can do that and collect all the data according to the standard that's been set for the business retention and expansion. But in addition to people calling in, we are also looking at some strategic focus sectors also. So, it started out, the very first sectors that she hit were the seafood processors, because we were hearing anecdotally about their labor issues. And so that seemed like a pretty big red flag. So we went out and ground truth that anecdotal data and got the numbers for it to verify it so that we could take action with some evidence behind our decisions.
Is there high demand for business retention in the region as a whole?
Yes, would be the short answer for that. Everybody wants to know how to keep their business running in the area. There's also quite a demand for growth. Yeah, there's a real push for, especially in the sectors that have any exports. There's a big push to increase, not necessarily, well, increase the amount of exports, but increase the value of the exports as well.
Probably in the lobster industry, fishing,
Yep.
seafood.
Fisheries, big
Yeah.
time. Yep.
Y a-t-il d'autres questions?
Are there more questions?
Like some people do have properties to sell, but they're maybe not advertising. How do you advertise or let people know that this is an option? And how can we, I guess as a council, when we see a real estate or a commercial property for sale, just call you guys to set that up? Or?
Absolutely. You can take a picture of it and send it. The phone number that I've given you on my business card there, that's my cell phone. It's my direct line. It's you take a picture of it and text it to me, and I'll hand it off to Tracy, and she'll follow up. I'm doing this, going to all of the councils to speak to them all so that they all know, and they seem to all be asking that same kind of question: how can we get the word out? So. You could put information out in your newsletter that, if you've got property for sale, any industrial commercial property you want to sell, there's a tool over here that you can use to sell it. And we would set up their property listing for them and put the right contact information, because I want to be really clear about one thing. The Western Wren is not a realtor. We don't want to get in the middle of any of these real estate deals. There's no charge for this. It's basically us making sure that our regional opportunities are on the radar outside of our region. So, yeah, send them to me. Call. However, even if it's, I saw a few of them. I can't remember exactly where, but I have an idea. Call and let us know, because to tell you the truth, Tracy's next step will literally be driving around in her car looking for properties for sale. Because so many of them are listed that way, right? Just with the sign in the window or out front. And many of them are privately listed. And, and in order to get on this, the only thing that we absolutely have to have is, it needs to be an industrial or a commercial property. It needs an address, because otherwise it won't show up on a map, and it needs a price. So, and that might be a sticking point for some people, right? They might be thinking, I'll sell, but I don't have a price, for the right price to the right person, I'd sell. Well, those ones are a little trickier for us to put on here. You have to set a price.
Any other questions? Y a-t-il d'autres questions? If not, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we will go to 3.2, Relay for Life. Adrien Como, if you want to come forward. Good evening, and thank you for everyone to letting me be here. I am Adrien Como. I am the president of Relay for Life for Clare 2018. I am accompanied by Kathleen Boudreau, responsible for the group for the relay. Our goal is to inform you this evening on Relay for Life and what the things you can do to help us. Last year, the Relay for Life of Clare went over the $35,000, and this year we should be able to surpass that again. So many people in the municipality have the idea that the money that we picked up in the last 12 years are not coming back, but that's false. Last year, only 33% of the people who went to Halifax were from Western Nova Scotia. So in our municipality, the majority of our $35,000 that we had picked up went to the Lodge That Gives, allowing everybody who suffers from cancer and who must go through a series of treatments can live there free. The Lodge That Gives offers also some diverse projects like yoga, music, 3 times a day for the patients and their supporters. The other part of our money goes to Camp Good Time, which is a camp in August that welcomes 65 young people suffering from cancer to change their idea about the cancer. Every year, 17 people in Canada hears the words, "You have cancer." And a lot from this area. The cancer is the most reasons for deaths in Canada, and 60% of the cancer victims survive today because of our ad, and with the research that were made, this percentage will change. We want to be able to continue to increase our survival rate and to offer a camp to our youths and a roof for our patients. So to do that, those things possible, we ask you that you help us with funds to be a sponsor, to have a team, or make a fundraising activity for us. These ideas are very easy because the organizing committee works very hard with you to make your fundraising a huge success. To start a team is very easy. You communicate with Mrs. Kathleen Boudreau, and then you will find a team captain, and then you play and pick up some money during your free time. And you can also raise funds for your team that will give you a big amount at the end. Also, with all of these, you are a very good team here. But if a team does not tempt you, you can be one of our sponsors. That would give you the chance to give us a firm amount of money. All these ways to help us financially are very easy. So any ideas that you have, we would like to have your presence with us for the Relay for Life on June 19, 2018 at the Clare High School. We would like also to thank you, to pass the word on to the community. We hope that you will consider our suggestions to help us financially, and I want to thank you again for your time. And to terminate my presentation, I want to leave you with a very touching point. In 2015 only, 196,900 people in Canada were diagnosed with cancer, so that every 3 minutes, one person can be told that you have cancer. It's a mystery to see who will be next. The cancer changes everything, but you can change it also. Thank you, and I am happy to answer any questions. Thank you, Adrien. Any questions? Do you know if at the Camp Good Time, are there any young youths from Clare or from the area who went to that Camp Good Time? I don't know if there was somebody, but it is said that from our regional, there are a lot of people that would be accepted to go, and we can help and make arrangements to have them go. Any more questions? I know that in the past, a municipality a few times have had a team. We didn't have one for the last few years, but maybe this is what we needed to help us to organize and get a team for the relay. So thank you for what you are doing, and I thank you honestly. It's nice to see a young person involved in the causes like this for our society. And I thank you for that also. Thank you. So keep pushing us. Certainly, I think we will examine the possibility of having a team, a municipal team. We have a lot of counselors and employees. We should be able to find somebody to do something. Thank you again. Thank you. Okay, we will go on to 5.1. 4.1, I'm sorry, I'm going ahead here. The adoption of the minutes for October 18, 2017, the regular council meeting. Are there any errors or omissions? If not, we need a motion. Moved by Neil, seconded by Carl. All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion is carried. 4.2, November 1st, 2017, council and committee meeting. Any errors or omissions? Proposé par Danny, appuyé par Yvon. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Contrary, no. Motion carried. 5, business arising from previous council meetings. 5.1, Bitcoms. Stefan, you want to talk about that? This is an estimate that we received.
This is an estimate from Bitcom following the installation of the new audiovisual system. We realized following the installation that there were a few things that we'd like to have and that were suggested to us afterwards. But these things are that go beyond the original contract. The 2 items in question are
listening system. Et le deuxième, c'est un remote control to switch video content from video cameras and PC content. C'est une boîte.
It's a box similar to the white box that's beside Alain over there. It's a system that allows simultaneous translation. They currently have this system. It was suggested as a bilingual municipality that offers meetings in English, in French and English, to have one of these systems that would be available to people on demand for people who come to make presentations or who come in to listen at the meeting. So really it's a question of offering a better service to our residents in the language of their choice. The second is a little bit more technical. I may ask Alain for some help with this one. It's the box, the switch to I think it's better if Alain explains this. It's the box. So we had some problems tonight here. When the person presents and speaks to the presentation that's on the screen, we can put the camera to go into the system and then the people really see what goes on the screen. But earlier tonight, Erica was speaking and for about 2 or 3 minutes, but you couldn't change. But here, it's hard for Alain to go and to change all the time. So they asked that another box is put in the room where the interpreters are. And then the person who works on the cameras, she could see and do the switch. So it would be a box like this that would be back in the room back there. There's no doubt that it's easier for Jean when she sees what's going on. Oh. When she sees what the people who watch the meeting see, it's much easier for her to go from the screen to the person in larger presentations. It's a lot for Alain to try to take the meeting minutes and take care of everything else. So the estimated total cost for these 2 pieces of equipment would be $4,565 plus tax. The reason why we're presenting this tonight is because if it's something that the council wants to adopt, to go ahead with, we'd have to communicate with the company as early as possible so that they could order the equipment and they could come in here and install the equipment. The last time they came, it took a few months for them to be able to come. So if it's something the council wants, we simply want to do it as soon as possible. Does someone want to make the motion, Councillor? Oh. I think we need this. It's like the CAO mentioned, it's a great service to offer to the community members who wants to look at the meeting and watch in the meeting of their choice. So I propose that we do go ahead and ask for this equipment. Seconded by Councillor Eric. Discussion on the motion. Everyone in favor? Against? Motion carried. 6, Warden's Activity Report. October 19th, I participated at a meeting of the subcommittee of the Saguenay employment service at the Entrepreneurial Center Louis A. Deveau. It's a committee that's mandated by the province that the employment services is responsible for. There's a person from Clare, from Argyle, and a member of the CDNA, who's the president on the committee. And they meet at least twice a year to make sure that they respect the contract. I participated at a CDNA. It was at the Centre Entrepreneurial Louis R. Deveau, and it started 2 or 3 years ago. They would go to different organizations and look at their policies. And I don't want to say if they're sexist or not, but sometimes the language that's used in policies or employment opportunities are often towards the masculine, and it gives the appearance that it's a job more aimed to men than to women. And we see this a lot. So they approach the municipality and a number of companies here just to make sure that the opportunities are presented in a way that's equal. So we participated in this, and it was just another follow-up session for this. October 23rd, I participated at a meeting at the Bureau de Direction of the University Saint-Anne, and on the 23rd, it was a meeting of the Governor's Council at the university. From 7th to the 10th of November, it was an autumn session in Halifax, and November 14th, yesterday, I did an interview with CBC News. It was Pam Berman, and we discussed the next exam for the municipal boundaries. I'm not sure when that's going to go out, but they're doing a program, a CBC program for CBC News for this, and the basis is that they're gonna try to see what is the ideal number of councillors for a municipality. So they're going to go to Annapolis and a few other municipalities. And because we had the RFB for the municipal boundaries, they came to see us. So I did that yesterday. Are there any questions? Are there any questions about my report? If not, we'll go to number 7, official statements from the members of council. Yes, congratulations to Roy Deveau for his participation in the international karate. Riley lost his first match, but it was his first experience in an international tournament, and we would like to send him a letter to congratulate him. We'd also like to congratulate Denise Thibault for her medal and her participation in the Atlantic Karate Championships in Newfoundland. Denise brought home a gold medal, another gold medal for team, and silver medal. Denise also participated in the Cold Cup in Japan last August. So we'd also like to send her a letter to congratulate her. I'd also like to say that Bernadine and Louis Como would like to thank the municipality and the councillors for for the congratulations certificate that was sent to them for their 50th wedding anniversary. Are you all in agreement to send some letters? Okay, perfect, thank you. Are there other official presentations? If not, we're going to go to number 8, correspondence. 8.1, letter from the Belleville Cove Development Commission, Christian Thériault. This letter was sent to the Federal Deputy Colin Fraser, and we were in CC.
on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Billabos Cove Development Commission regarding the need for dredging at the entrance of the harbor in Billabos Cove. Over the past 2 decades, millions of dollars have been invested in and around the harbor in Billabos Cove by all levels of government, fundraising, and in-kind contributions. This has resulted in Billabos Cove being one of the premier outdoor event and recreational destinations within the municipality of Clare. Owned by the municipality of Clare and managed by the BCDC, Billabos Cove Development Commission, the Joseph and Marie Dugas Park is now home to a farmer's market, a weekly lobster boil during the summer, in addition to being the host venue for a number of community events and the starting point for a 5-kilometer seaside boardwalk trail. Tourism and cultural activities at the Joseph and Marie Dugas Park result in significant economic spin-off for the entire area. A key feature of this park is the adjacent wharf, which serves as a marina for visitors to the numerous activities being held in Billabos Cove, as well as a commercial port used by some lobster fishing boats. There is also renewed interest to use the wharf as an offloading site for other commercial sea products. Over the past couple of years, a significant amount of sand and silt has begun depositing itself into the entrance of the harbor, resulting in navigational difficulties for vessels at low to mid tide. As a result, any future economic activity at the Billabos Cove Wharf is potentially at risk. Therefore, on behalf of the BCDC, we would request that the Billabos Cove Wharf be given consideration for funding to undertake a modest dredging project at the earliest opportunity. Not only would this small investment help in preserving the important federal investments made around the harbor in recent years, but will also ensure that commercial seafood activity can continue to take place and grow. I would be pleased to discuss this request to you further at a time of your convenience. I look forward to hearing back from you in the near future. With best regards, Christian Theriault, President, Billabos Cove Development Commission.
Are there any questions or comments, Brian? In the past, I'm not sure whether it was the municipality that submitted an application for financing for 100,000. Was it the municipality that applied, or was it the commission? I will try to answer your question. It seems to me that we put 20,000 per year for 7 years, 5 years, but the commission was the applicant. The application to the municipality or to other governments, the province and the federal government. Essentially, both. They applied to ACOA as part of the application to ACOA is that the municipality had to contribute. And it seems to me it was 20,000 a year for 7 years. So according to the process followed last time, we should produce a letter to support their application, have the commission make their application to ACOA for the dredging with the support of the municipality and with whatever financing would be included. That's maybe how we should support them. At present, the letter she was also sent to the federal department and to Fisheries and Oceans, and I talked to her and the assistant, Jason DeVoe. According to Mr. DeVoe, the application for dredging is being considered by Fisheries and Oceans. The difficulty is that Fisheries and Oceans, small craft and harbors doesn't recognize Belleville Cove as a small craft harbor. This can complicate things a bit. That's not to say they're not ready to do it, but it will certainly, they will give preference to other harbors which are recognized as small craft harbors. So at present, it's with Fisheries and Oceans for considerations. We asked Mr. DeVoe whether the municipality has a role to play. They said that they're waiting to see what DFO will decide, and they will be keeping in contact with us at the municipality. And if we can perhaps look at other federal programs like ACOA and others, and we can keep that open for later. Are there any other questions? So we will wait to see what the answer is from Small Crafts and Harbour. 8.2 now, letter from Shine a Light on Women Abuse campaign. Lisa Newell-Bain. In English.
Shine a Light on Women Abuse campaign. Juniper House, Shift Youth Services, and the Tri-County Women's Centre are collaborating with the London Abuse Women's Centre to bring their campaign, Shine a Light on Women Abuse, to the Tri-Counties. The goal of the campaign is to raise awareness of men's violence against women by turning cities, regions, and counties purple for the month of November, explained Lisa Turner, Sexualized Violence Services Coordinator at the Tri-County Women's Centre. This campaign is a symbol of solidarity with abused women as we support them in understanding that any shame and or blame they may feel does not belong to them, but to the perpetrators of their abuse. It is also an opportunity to raise the profile of the community agencies that can provide abused women and girls with help as they attempt to live their lives free of violence and abuse. The London Abuse Women's Centre uses their annual campaign to remember and honor 2 women who have been impacted by woman abuse in Canada and encourage everyone to use purple lighting to express their support for stopping violence against women in our society. This year, Cindy Gladue, a 36-year-old Cree woman and a mother of 3 from Edmonton, Alberta, who was murdered, and Ashley Desjardins from London, Ontario, who survived abuse in a previous relationship, are being remembered and honored this year. This campaign will lead into Juniper House's annual Purple Ribbon campaign, November 25th to December 10th, with Wednesday, December 6th being the National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women and Girls. The campaigns go well together as both campaigns aim to raise awareness, support women's experiences, as well as giving an opportunity to raise the profile of the community agencies that can provide assistance to women and girls experience violence or abuse. Purple is a symbol of courage, survival, and honor, and has come to symbolize the fight to end women abuse. We invite local businesses, schools, municipalities, recreation facilities, parks, the offices of elected officials, places of worship, and homes to go purple. Decorate with purple lights, streamers, or any other purple material you want to use. Please if you're having difficulty finding purple lights, please call one of the numbers below. More on the campaign can be found at Shine the Light on Women Abuse campaign. Please contact one of the 3 agencies prompting this campaign to get involved: Juniper House, Shift Youth Services, and the Tri-County Women's Centre.
So what you wish to do on this? Are you interested in involving the municipality? Yvon? Okay. We lit up in blue a few weeks ago. You're in agreement? You're the expert on lighting, so if you're all in agreement, we will go ahead with lighting up in purple, I think. I don't think we need a motion. 8.3, letter from the Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Catherine McKenna.
Letter of August 10th, 2017, concerning the relocation of the collection store at Parks Canada Dartmouth facility in Nova Scotia to a new facility in Gatineau, Quebec. I regret the delay in responding. The decision to consolidate a national collection into one central location was made to ensure its sustainable care and management, as 5 of Parks Canada's 6 facilities across the country do not meet accepted environmental or security control standards. It is important to note, however, that the collections at Canada's National Historic Sites and National Parks will continue to be displayed and exhibited so that all Canadians have access to our country's deep and diverse history. Parks Canada contributes significantly to the protection and promotion of Canada's cultural heritage through its robust loans program to cultural institutions across Canada, as well as through archaeology and history programs. The agency continues to develop public programming and encourages all visitors, including school groups, to visit sites and parks where they can experience a tangible link to Canadian history. The collection and its accompanying documentation is used by a variety of researchers to better understand the complexities of Canadian history. Accordingly, Parks Canada is committed to ensuring that the same access to the collection will be maintained through properly stored and inventoried objects that can be easily retrieved by a national team of dedicated collection specialists, as well as through the agency's loan programs. Parks Canada is also committed to upholding accepted museum standards and practices in the management and conservation of the national collection. As such, it was determined that consolidation would be most sustainable and efficient solution to manage this rich body of historical and archaeological objects. The Dartmouth facility is currently the only Parks Canada facility that meets conservation and security standards, as it was purpose-built for collection storage. This is why agency officials have decided to maintain the lease on the Dartmouth building. Please be ensured that Parks Canada will continue to work with regional stakeholders and Indigenous groups to ensure that the national collection remains accessible to local researchers, teachers, and visitors. I appreciate having had this opportunity to respond to your concerns, and I share your interest for the preservation and presentation of the history of Atlantic Canada. Sincerely, the Honourable Catherine McKenna.
Des questions ou commentaires? Si vous en souvenez, le Conseil avait écrit une lettre.
If you remember, the council had written a letter that was sent, so it's essentially the answer to our letter. Next, we will go on to item 9, the manager's report. My report this evening is quite short. Just follow up on a few projects. The Church Point Sewer Plant. We have the signage for the stations. The monument has been installed. The third monument, which will be in stainless steel, is being built presently at Ontario. But the construction will be completed when we have the specifications for the signage. For the signs themselves, the 3 signs, the tender is closed, and we will present a recommendation later on this evening to grant the financing to a company from Nova Scotia. The construction of the signs should take 6 weeks, and that is still according to schedule. The electrical work for the installation of the signage was granted to Briand Leblanc, and the permit requests have been submitted, and the discussions are in place with Nova Scotia Power. For the project in its as such is going forward according to the schedule and the budget, so we are good. For the sewer system on the John Thibodeau Road, there is no new development there. We will have a report in November. For the cultural hub in Comoville, we received 3 submissions for the sewer system and 2 for the parking behind the building. We will present a recommendation this evening to grant the finances for these projects. The steps outside of the building that serve as an emergency exit, the tender calls will be coming out in November. For the Clare 250th, the planning committee is in place and meets every 2 weeks. The members of the committees are personnel from the municipality, as well as representatives from the Acadian Festival and the Acadian Society of Clare. The group meets to discuss a preliminary program as well as a budget to accompany the program. That will be presented to you at our meeting on December 6th for your consideration. The lighthouse in Cape St. Mary, as you know, the webcam and videoscope have been installed. The construction for the picnic table, everything is now complete, accessible. The addition of other post-in rope is completed. I think the work is completed yesterday or today or very recently. And the big rocks have been reused on the other part of the ground. The interpretive panels will be installed between now and the end of November, and the welcome sign is in place, was installed today. And there is presently a new website under construction. The request for the highway sign on the Highway 101 on the Yarmouth side at the exit 32 was granted to Luke German for the preparation, and the opening of the park is planned for the spring of 2018 under the banner of Clare 250. The Echo Park, we will discuss it at the in-camera meeting for the Bellevue Cove Development Commission project proposed. We have no development on this project, but we stay in communication with the group. Same thing for the fire hall in St. Bernard. We are still waiting for the specs and the construction materials. The exam on the electoral boundaries, as was presented this year, the request was sent to the ORB and it is placed on the website, URB website. So the deadline to submit for that work has been fixed at November 24th. Until now, I have been in communication with somebody who is interested in submitting. The RFP, the final report, must be submitted to the municipality at the latest on February 21st, 2018, and then sent to the UARB before February 28, 2018. So we have a week there to discuss about it and make a motion to essentially recommend the report. For the finances of the municipality, on October 31st, 2017, the municipality had revenues of $8,119,442 against expenses for $4,972,209 for a net revenue of $3,147,233. Again, on October 31st, the municipality had a balance of $2,536,252 in its bank account, and a balance of reserve of $3,952,463. That amount can be divided in the following manner. The operational reserve is $438,458. The reserve for capital projects, $2,721,091. And the reserve for the landfill closure, $317,308. And finally, the gas tax reserve, $475,000, $606. Internally, a few meetings that were noted is the focus is on EMO training. So I could attend to 2 courses for the Emergency Command Center and the Instant Command System 300. Myself and Mark Doucette have participated. Jody Comono will also participate in this training in the future. There was a meeting for the Highway 101 passport in 2017, just to bring an update on where the work is at for the construction of the twinning of Highway 101 from Digby to Marshalltown. And as the warden has mentioned, I participated at the conference at the USM in Halifax. For the next 2 weeks, the only one that I noted is the tomorrow night with the Nova Scotia Health Authority for Shaping Health Together, to talk with municipal representatives to talk about the health center. Councillor Danny will participate, as well as Janice from our medical health center. So that is my report. Any questions, Brian? When the RFP came out for the consultations for the electoral boundaries, when will the consultations take place, and is there a deadline for when the work must be done?
The RFP came out last week, and it will be open until November 24th. I forget the exact time. I think it's 3 p.m., but I'll have to confirm. But until the afternoon of November 24th. From there, we'll do an evaluation of the submissions, and we'll present our recommendations. From there, once we choose an independent consultant, I hope that they'll be able to start the study ASAP to give us enough time to meet the deadlines that have been imposed to us. They'll have until October 28th. They'll have until February 21st to deposit their report. And from there, we'll be able to evaluate it and study it. But this same report has to be submitted February 28th, 2018 on the latest. So there's still about 2.5, 3 months left. More questions? If not, we'll go to number 10, committee reports. 10.1, building permits report.
The report for October 2016, there was 20 permits for $573,000 worth of construction. And for October of this past year, there were 16 permits of a little over $1 million worth of constructions. That's almost double from the year before. And the year to date, it's a little over $8 million value of construction of 2016. And as of now, as of the end of October, we're $10,000,005. So that's $2.5 million ahead of last year. So that's pretty sweet.
That's the case.
Are there any questions? Looks like a good number. Next, 10.2, Board of Governors, Université Sainte-Anne. I have a short report from the meeting. The meeting took place on November 2nd. Alistair Surette made a presentation on the consultation process for the next strategic plan for the university. The actual plan will end in 2018, so the new plan will go from 2019 until 2024. There will be training for the revision committee for the linguistic policy of the university. There was the adoption of the policy for the management risk policy that was adopted at the meeting. Part of the strategic plan is that every time there's a strategic plan, there's a finance campaign, and in the actual plan, the objective was to raise $7 million for 2018, and to date they've raised $5.8 million. So it's going well. There's still some time left until they get to the end of it. So they're doing really good. They raised a lot of money. There will be a governance session for the Governor's Council in Halifax that will take place just before the next meeting, just before the next Board of Governors Council Board of Governors meeting. That's essentially the report. I don't know if you have any questions. If not, we'll go to 10.3, Western Counties Regional Library. Carl has a report. Thanks, Warden Leblanc. We had our report for the year for the Western Counties Regional Library. The libraries, 10 libraries belong to our district. Basically from Shelburne to Digby and Westport is part of this includes 10 libraries. The Yarmouth Library is where the main office is for our meetings and everything. We don't have a lot to report. On the finance side, the expenses were $1,637,829, and the revenue was $1,637,829, which is the same. So basically, we end with nothing. That being said, libraries were not looking to make a profit. We're just looking to remain afloat, and that people use it. That's what we hope. That's what we want. We want people to use the libraries. The libraries are well used. The one in Clare, the one in our region. At this moment, there's a little over 1,000 members. We're looking for more people, because the more people there are at all our libraries, the better chance we have of getting money from the provincial government. We had a little problem this year because we asked for money we ended up getting less than we did in the past, and that gave us a little bit. That gave us some problems because we had to let some people go because we didn't have the funds. I mean, if they wanted to stay, volunteer, but that doesn't really happen. So we asked for people to get a library card, and that way, yes, so we asked that, and that is the report. Thank you, Carl. Are there any questions? If not, we'll go to number 11, new business. 11.1, motion to award contract for parking lot cultural hub. Thanks, Mr. Warden. As you know, part of the renovation project to make in the hub, which is in the CFA building in Comoville, it includes a parking lot in behind the building. So we asked for submissions for this, and we received 2 submissions, 2 different companies, local companies. So we evaluated them. The 2 companies are very capable. So we went with the lowest one. So the recommendation is to give the tender to Spec Resources Inc. in the amount of $8,625 plus HST. Hector, you want to make the motion? I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare award the tender for the parking lot at the old Comoville School Building, CFA, to Spec Resources Inc. in the amount of $8,625 plus HST. Someone who wants to move? Carl. Seconded by Carl. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried. 11.2, motion to award contract for septic system at the cultural hub. Thank you. Still, as part of the same project, we saw that we were obligated to replace the septic system. It wasn't something that, it's something that we wanted to do. inside our budget. We can still respect our budget. So the septic system was designed by Paul Buxton, engineer. So we asked for tenders for the septic system, and so we received 3 tenders. We evaluated the 3, and the recommendation from the team here at the municipality is to award the tender to CF Kaiser's Mini Excavating and Trucking Limited in the amount of $9,141 plus HST. Does someone want to move the motion? Councillor Evo? I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare award the tender for the septic system at the old Comaville School building, CFA, to CF Kaiser's Mini Excavating and Trucking Limited in the amount of $9,141 plus HST. Someone wants to second this? Seconded by Danny. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried.
11.3, motion to award tender for the control panels at Metegan Lift Station. Once again, this concerns the renovations of the sewers in Church Point. So this was 3 new electrical panels. We invited tenders for the design and installation of these lift station panels. Given the anticipated cost, we advertised on the provincial website. We received 4 tenders and we went with the lowest, which is the Panel Shop Inc. And for your information, this is already one of our suppliers who has already worked on one of our sewer systems, and they have already provided a number of control panels, so they are familiar with our equipment. So the recommendation of the staff is to give the tender for construction, delivering and commissioning of all 3 panels to Panel Shop Inc. in the amount of $65,347 plus HST. Is there someone who wants to make the motion in English?
Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare award the tender for the construction, delivering, and commissioning of the 3 lift station electrical panels to the Panel Shop Inc. in the amount of $65,347 plus HST.
Quelqu'un qui appuie ça?
Is there a seconder? Eric? Is there a discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. 11.4, motion to approve the 5-year capital plan. At the last meeting of the committee and council, we approved the 5-year capital plan. We subsequently received requests to revise it at the level of the priority of projects, not to remove or add projects. Since that year, we have made changes that were requested by the board. And this evening, we are asking a motion to approve the plan as presented at the meeting at the beginning of the month on the 1st of November 2017. Do you have the list? It's on my computer. It might be important to go quickly through the list, just to be clear that every year we send our 5-year plan, we can change it from day to day. But if the council thinks that something is more important, but the public, it's important for the public to know what our priorities are to date. So the 3 projects on the plan for the coming year, the cultural center in Comoville, which is in progress, and the renovations at the water treatment plant in Church Point, and the installation of the 3 panels in Meteghan. Those are the projects for the fiscal year at present. For 2018-2019, we have, 6 projects on the list. The construction of the fire hall and the community center in St. Bernard, repairs to existing sidewalks in the municipality, the analysis of the capacity of our sewer system, especially in the Meteghan area, where there are commercial and industrial clients like Riverside, and there might be more. So we need to be certain that our sewer system has the necessary capacity for this additional use. We are also looking at the possibility of sidewalks in Meteghan, and this would be conditional on the construction of a new villa. We're waiting for news on this. We are looking also at the possibility of sidewalks on the Wharf Road in Meteghan, and the development of Echo Park. For 2019, 2020, we are looking at sidewalks in Meteghan River. For 2020-21, there would be sidewalks in Salmon River. And from 2021 to 2022, we are looking at a sewer system for the village of St. Bernard, from where the ambulances are to up to Bellevos Cove, and that it would start at the fire hall in St. Bernard. These projects can be added to this list. And another point to make is that there are a lot of projects on the list, but what happens frequently is we look at federal and provincial programs, and sometimes we advance the projects because instead of paying 100%, we can leverage our money. It can be a third, one third, one third. So often, because of the programs that are announced, we can move a project ahead with only 25% of the cost. So we can change priorities for that sort of reason. That being said, if you are all in agreement with the 5-year plan, is there someone who wants to make the motion? I will make the motion that we approve the 5-year capital investment plan for 5 years. Microphone off. Go look in your files. I move that the Council for the Municipality of Clare approve and submit the 5-year capital investment plan for the fiscal years 2017-2018 to 2021-22, as discussed with the Council on the 1st of November 2017 and presented to Council on the 15th of November 2017. Is there a seconder? Hector. Is there discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor say aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. 11.5, motion to approve a letter of support to Nora Ben-Achour of Université Sainte-Anne. Nora Ben-Achour is a professor of biology at University Sainte-Anne. She's doing research on algae and the quality of water in our lakes and wells, and she's interested in the quality of water in these lakes, and especially the toxins created by these algae. Her research suggests that the toxins can disappear or they can accumulate over the years. So she wants to test the quality of the water in certain of our lakes in order to determine the presence of these toxins in the water and at what concentration. And she wants to establish a connection between the presence of toxins and our drinking water to see whether there is a direct link with the health of the population. And part of the financing for her research asks her for a letter of support from the community where she is working. So she approached to the council not for financial support, but for an indication that we approve and we support her research. This is something that she's new in the area, and she hopes to be able to present this to people in the area in order to explain why she is there. And she hopes to be able to use this letter to meet people and to have access to test their well water. So simply we're asking for a motion to write a letter of support for Nora Ben-Achour, indicating that the municipality supports her research. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare write a letter of support concerning this research project of Nora Ben-Achour, which consists in testing the quality of water in lakes throughout Clare. Seconded by Danny. Is there discussion? Yes, Carl?
Just a point, we had a meeting last week for the Culture River watershed, and we are very interested in the work that she is doing. That is the work that we do, that the community does, so we are very interested in her work. So that's good. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion carried. 11.6, motion to send a letter to the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Renewal of Nova Scotia. Since we took the lighthouse at Cape St. Mary, it became a municipal park with discussion at the announcement and since with our MLA, Gordon Wilson. He mentioned a few times that there would be a possibility of maybe having that road paved, the road that goes to the lighthouse, that it had been done in other areas. There are special funds for that. And he suggested that the municipalities write a letter to request for that. The fact that it is a municipal park will help, but the other one is that the Grand Fondo would like to use the park as a rest station so the people from outside could go up to the lighthouse. It is a nice spot, and it would give a bit more to the event. So we are looking for a motion to write a letter in support of having the road paved to go to the lighthouse. Does anybody wish to make the motion? I move that the Council of the Municipality of the District of Clare write a letter to the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Renewal of Nova Scotia, indicating that the Cape St. Mary Lighthouse is now a municipal park, and the municipality of Clare is requesting the road paved and the parking lot to be paved for use by the Grand Fondo in 2018 and onward. Anybody wish to second that? Seconded by Carl. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion is carried. We are up to 12, the in-camera session. We have two items in camera, 12.1, the Eco Park, and 12.2, the Cultural Hub. So for the people who are watching this on the air, I would like to say good evening. We need a motion to go in camera, moved by Neil, seconded by Yvonne. All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion is carried.